that we tested 3 gemstones here in our gem lab, and they came out different than what the machine told us they were. Of course, she didn't want to accept that, and she said, well, I know what they are. And I said, have you ever taken any gemological courses? No. Do you have any gemological equipment other than this gem tester? No. And so it was, we were, agree to disagree that you can't take information from the internet and apply it to a machine for $300 or $400 and then think you know what a gemstone is. Gemology is a science. Things are changing all the time. You have to stay aware of what's going on. And if you don't want to get screwed by somebody, you need to be sure you know what you're buying. So we're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, I want to tell you about an interesting assignment that I was given.
One-on-one with Susan Eisen.
I was born in El Paso, and it's always been my home. Get to know us. We'll be your most trusted resource for buying jewelry and for all your jewelry needs.
When it comes to a jeweler you can trust, visit SusanEisen.com. One-on-one with Susan Eisen.
It takes me hundreds of hours each year for my continuing education on grading and pricing diamonds, and our focus is on providing value for you.
When it comes to the best diamond advice, visit SusanEisen.com.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for letting Crazy About Jewelry Radio be a part of your Saturday afternoon. I'm Susan Eisen, Chief Appraiser and Designer at Susan Eisen Fine Jewelry and Watches at 5857 North Mesa. And we're having a great time talking about all the things that go on in my store every single week. All the questions that I'm asked, all the problems that we're asked to solve, and all the information that we can give them so that if it's your question, you will also know the answer. Now, if you'd like to call me during the show, you can call 544-5876. You can go to SusanEisen.com and hit the contact us or the chat button. You can go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Pinterest, and you can send me a question that way, or you can call the store right after the show is over in about 15 minutes and ask me the question that way. If you'd like to come in, I like to meet with you. I like to spend time with each person that comes in and help them the best way I can. And so that's a little bit different, and it requires scheduling. So we need to know when you're coming in. So just give us a call if you'd like to come in, and we'll set something up for you. 584-0022. So here is the next assignment I was given. A man came in and he said, I bought this diamond from you, I think it was 20 years ago. And I gave it to my wife, and now it's 20 years later, and we have 3 daughters. And we were thinking about doing our estate planning, and we thought, wow, we only have 1 diamond, but we have 3 daughters. So what are we going to do? Now, normally when I counsel people about inheritance issues, we talk about equal values and how to leave things to your children that are of equal value. But in this particular case, he said, I want 2 more diamonds that are just like this one. And I want to make sure that each daughter gets the same thing. And so I took a look at this appraisal that I did when I was a master gemologist appraiser for 10 years. And I said, well, if you want apples with apples, we have to do a little bit more critical analysis of this diamond. Now, 20 years ago, we didn't have the same equipment and the same technology and procedures that we do now. And so the first thing I had to look at is where the inclusions were, what the dimensions were, how the cut was graded, all different things, a lot more critical analysis than we have to do when we're doing an insurance appraisal. And so he said, go ahead, and I took some notes on some more critical issues. And to tell you the truth, the more you're experienced, the more you're doing the same business, the better off you get. not only are you better, but you're more knowledgeable and you're able to use the new technology that's out there to enable you to be more accurate and more specific on your appraisal report. And so now I have a job that I have to find 2 matching diamonds to this one diamond that his wife wears every single day. And it's a lot harder to match than it is to buy one from the very beginning. When we buy one from the very beginning, we're not really matching it to anything. And for those of you who have ever bought like a blue skirt and thought it was very easy to go buy a blue blouse and you went to 10 stores and none of them matched, you know what I'm talking about. And so now is my job to search around. I have to search measurements, angles, color, clarity, weight, price, inclusion location, inclusion type, naturals, all kinds of things that I would never have to do if you were just coming in to buy a diamond engagement ring or a diamond for your wife or significant other. And so it's an interesting assignment. I told him it takes a while. We have to critically analyze the inventory reports that we get and the certificates that we get. Then I have to bring them in, and just because they might match on paper, they might look totally different. And that's because no 2 diamonds are the same. They're just like human beings. And so that's why it's very hard to match. But as a master gemologist appraiser, that's what I'm trained to do. And as I invest in more sophisticated equipment, I can do that on a much higher level so that I'm giving you the right information. And so I put it on my list. Every week I'm asked to search for diamonds for people. And sometimes it's compare pricing, sometimes it's value, sometimes it's because they want to buy one and I want to make sure I'm finding them the best value for their money. And also I want to educate them about why I'm searching for what I'm searching so that I can explain why the value is better. Now that's something very important to know. If you're dealing with a salesperson that has to look at the tag to determine the color and clarity and why it's valued the way it is, you're not going to get the same information as you will from us here at Susan Eisen. And that's why we have a requirement that you have to have diamond grading information and education before you can meet with a diamond customer. And sometimes that puts a dent in how many people I can meet with. But I feel good when I go home that I've given you the right information, that I haven't embellished, overgraded, undergraded, missed anything when I'm telling you, especially when you're going to buy an expensive diamond that's going to symbolize your love and commitment for the rest of your life. Now, lately we've been getting calls and questions about synthetic diamonds. And I tell everybody the same thing. Synthetics are made in a laboratory with a lot of pollution in China mostly, where they are cranking out millions and millions of carats of diamonds. They're not the same. They're not made billions of years ago in the Earth's surface. There are some similarities, but mostly they're very different. But the main thing is that the value of synthetic diamonds has steadily been decreasing, and pretty soon they'll be so inexpensive that you'll be able to buy one for $500. Now, why do you care? Some people don't care. Some want it to look big, and they don't care if it's synthetic or natural. Fine. But if you're spending $500 and you want to trade it in someday, or you lose it and you insure it for $500, then the insurance company is going to spend $50 and buy you another one. So you're going to be paying premiums on something that no longer has that value. And why would you invest money in something that you know is going to be going down in value? It's the total opposite reason why you buy jewelry. You buy jewelry for lots of for lots of reasons, mostly to signify very important sentimental events that are life-changing, like birthday, anniversary, engagement, graduation, any kind of reason. That's why you buy a diamond. Do you want it to go down in value over time so that it's worth next to nothing? And then do you want to pass it down to another generation where it's worth next to nothing? I kind of look at it like computers and cell phones, actually. Computers start at $5,000 when I think I first bought mine. Now you can buy one for $500. And it does 10 times more than it did when we bought the first one for $5,000. Now in this particular case, it's better because you can do more with it. But why would you go out and spend $5,000 on a computer right now? Heck no. Why should you if you could buy one for $500? And so although we honor requests of synthetic diamonds, it's important for me to know why you're buying what you are, what your values are, what you think is important, what you want it to do for you, so that I can give you the right information and tell you the pluses and minuses of natural, billions of years old diamonds versus synthetic diamonds that are cranked out in a lab in China, thousands and millions of carats at a time. So we're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, I want to talk to you about a customer that was just in the store with lots of jewelry for me to look at.
One-on-one with Susan Eisen.
Setting my very first diamond 30 years ago in my garage late at night took me 5 hours to do. Since then, our priority is the quality of our work.
When it comes to the highest quality control standards, visit SusanEisen.com. One-on-one with Susan Eisen.
Every diamond in our store is personally selected and graded by me to ensure you're getting more value than what you are paying for. That sets us apart.
When it comes to expert advice on diamonds, visit SusanEisen.com.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for letting Crazy About Jewelry Radio be a part of your Saturday afternoon. I'm Susan Eisen, broadcasting here from behind in the administrative offices of my store at 5857 North Mesa on the corner of Sunland Park and Mesa. And I'm really enjoying talking to you about the career that I love, the business that I have, the wonderful customers that come in, and the exciting pieces of jewelry that I get to see every single day when people bring in their jewelry. And so I wanted to talk about this last customer who came in the door. He called around and chose us to come and look at this inherited jewelry that he had. And he probably brought in about 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 pieces. And he wanted my opinion on, it was just a consultation, it was not an appraisal, on what to do with it, what was real, what was not, just kind of an overall opinion. And so I'm available to do all kinds of services, not just appraisals. Appraisals take time and effort and research, and they cost, and but so is my time very valuable both to me and to my customers. And so we agreed to do a consultation, and when he brought in all this jewelry, it was his mom's and his grandmother's, there was about 10 different things that I was looking for. One was, did the stamp match the look of the gold? Because anybody can stamp 14 karat on something, even if it's gold-plated. And how would you know, if it's not your business, if it's really 14 karat? And then we had found things that were a mixture. Like it was a 10 karat chain with a 14 karat pendant. So that was also something we had to separate. Then there were some bracelets that were a white kind of frosty color. And I told him, by looking, I cannot tell what this is. I have to take it into my gem laboratory and run some tests on it. It could be glass, plastic, jade, mixture of glass and plastic, dyed stone. tumbled stone. It could have been 30 different things. Now, of course, when I looked at it, my first inclination was white jade with my eye, but then I took a loop to it. Once I took a loop to it, I thought, I don't know, this could be glass, this could be plastic, this could be jade. I'm not sure. So what do I have to do? I have to test it. I have to look through a microscope. I have to shoot light through it. I have to take a refractive index. I have to see if it fluoresces under long wave and short wave. I have to run a lot of tests on it to determine what it is. So there was the test pile, things that we need to test. And so that was like number 4 or 5 pile. Then there were things that I knew were not real at all and had no problem telling him this is not real. Then there were things that the gemstones looked real inside. It was a gold ring. It looked like a real gemstone, but I'm not sure that it really was. And so before I could even advise him, I have to know what it is before I can advise you about what to do with these things. And I often wonder how other stores work where if they don't know what it is, how can they advise you on what to do? And because the synthetics and the naturals are getting so good, we need a lot more equipment than we used to have. I have 2 machines right now that are very sophisticated technology that will give me about a 75% answer along with research that I have to do. And I have another machine that I'm considering buying after I get my gold machine in that will help me a little more. But you know, one machine does not work for everything. It's kind of like when you go to the doctor and you need to see inside someone. Sometimes they use an x-ray, sometimes they use a CAT scan, sometimes they use an MRI. Well, why? Why won't one machine do the same thing? Well, because there's muscle and bone, and different machines can only do certain things. And so it requires us to have lots of different machines and lots of background and education to be able to operate them. Now, I'm very excited to get in my new gold machine because the first thing I want to do is test all the gold coins that I've bought and make sure that they all test out 99.9% gold. And for those of you who are buying gold coins from pawn shops, from the internet, from other people, you need to be sure that they are 100% gold the way they're supposed to be, because you don't want to find out after you sell it to someone or after you leave it to your kids that they're not what they say they are. And let me tell you what, there are heavily gold-plated coins made in China that look exactly like the gold coins and old gold coins that you've seen for many years. And so now we're like a Sherlock Holmes. We have to be aware of all the things that are happening and be able to solve the situations for you, because we want to be sure that if we're giving you an appraisal, we know what we're telling you. And if we're buying something from someone, we want to know what we're buying. And if we're selling you something, we want to know what we're selling. And so it takes all this sophisticated education and learning and technology for me to be able to give you this information, and that's why I treat this business so seriously. I could hire 10 salespeople to be behind the counter and talk to you all, but that's not where I want to be. I want to meet with you one-on-one, just like my commercials say, so that I can give you the best information, quality information. And yes, my time is limited, so there's a limit to how much I can do, but I want to make sure that you get the exact right information every time you come in. So I hope you've enjoyed the show. I know I only got through 3 lines when I had like 12 lines of things to talk about. And I hope you have a fabulous weekend. I look forward to next weekend talking to you all and telling you all the great stories. So for right now, we'll be back next week at 12:30. Thank you for listening. Bye now.
One-on-one.